Yeah, still not getting a picture here.
It's Gabrielle and not Zach
Is that
here.
working?
No, Zach, I'm not getting anything.
Go
I'll
ahead,
let you know.
Refresh.
Let's
Is it working?
try refreshing.
I can't tell.
There
Oh,
it
actually,
is.
here we go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes!
Wait, how's your thumb still there?
Because this is delayedly.
Oh,
Like we're getting
okay.
things like on a slight delay.
Yeah.
So things kind of
Okay.
like happen first here and then like there.
All right, guys.
So
We're recording now.
actually, we're not recording. We are streaming live.
streaming
so
live,
everything that we're
but I'm
saying is
recording
going
this.
into the internet.
That's right. I'm
And
theoretically making behind-the-scenes videos eventually.
okay, I'm gonna get rid
Yeah,
of this because this is super
that's
distracting.
super
I'm gonna go to a
distracting. Oh my
different.
God. It's so weird. Okay,
Page
so we got the
here.
questions up.
Hang on a second. Maybe we should introduce what we're doing and like who we are
Okay,
and who
that's-
this
That
is.
sounds great. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we?
Do
Do we talk about Lee first? Did we talk about Jess first?
we not?
You
Do we not
guys.
talk about Lee?
I'm just the guy.
Okay. Just in case anyone here is on the wrong airplane. Hi everyone. This is the Wolf 359 Ask Me Anything session. I'm Gabriel Urbina. I create and I write the show.
That's right. I'm Zach Valenti. I do what he tells me.
And that includes playing Eiffel and playing Hilbert and playing random side voices and producing the show and coming up soon writing an episode.
That's right, which I'm super excited about. It was not alone. Sarah and Gabrielle pulled me through, but that's another thing.
That's a story for another day.
That's right. This is Lee. This is my coworker and good friend.
He's here for moral support
Yeah,
more than
yeah.
anything.
He inspires me every day to live my life, and I don't know what I would do without him.
We would not be here without him. So
And we definitely blew up his spot on this couch setting up all this stuff. So
indeed. So yeah, thank you everyone for sending us so many great questions. We have an avalanche of
I'm
questions.
so excited. I'm going to jump in the YouTube chat, but we're going to focus on that.
Great. And yeah, and we're gonna have a special guest join us in a little bit. But for the time being, you are stuck with the two of us.
That's right.
And I think that just a vague disclaimer for the top of the show.
Sorry.
I can't do that. Big disclaimer for the top of the show. I think that we're going to be spoiling things through the latest episode, through No Pressure.
Yes.
Everything up to that is fair game.
Please
So-
hit me if I start to meander.
That's fine. So if I will stop you if you start going into like what happens at the end of the season. So yeah, so if you are not caught up with the show up to episode 23, I recommend that you come back to this at a later point in time. I believe that this stream will be available after the fact, and we'll link to that later. But yeah, so just like be aware, spoilers for everything through the latest episode that has been released.
I'm
good?
sorry.
You good with the chat?
I'm having way too much fun right now.
Well, that's the important thing, isn't it? But there hasn't been anything there that's like, we can't hear you, or like everything is
Ooh, yeah.
terrible.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Hey, Rachel. Yes. Can you hear us?
Is everything sounding okay? Like, throw in a ton of like angry comments if you can't hear us. It doesn't seem to be a problem.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, great.
You'll let me know.
So how do you think we should do this, Zach? I think maybe just go ping pong. I have like the infinitely long list of questions here.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'll pick one and then you pick one,
Okay,
and we'll
great.
just go back and forth until we get tired and our mouths stop working,
I love
and then we'll call it a night.
Game on.
Okay. So here's a good one to start with. This is specifically for Zach. Are there any particular characters or actors that influence your performance as Eiffel? What about Hilbert?
That's a really good question. You know, I think more and more as the time has gone on. Thank you. That was very distracting. I used to play a game called Red Alert that had a lot of bad guy Russian characters, and that was definitely one of my first inspirations. But I haven't started thinking about that kind of stuff until later in the game. As some of you on Tumblr may know from my post about it, I am not I'm proud of my work on Hilbert, but also embarrassed about it, because I think if you listen to episode 1 to now, he's changed a lot. Mostly that his voice has gotten much deeper and lower, much lower. And part of that has been just like the technical, like just the process of learning how to do an audio drama from mostly my background in commercial voiceover. Before that, I was mostly just honestly riffing on when I was much younger in middle school. I actually went to Russia with my best friend at the time, who was adopted in the south of Russia, and his Ukrainian nanny gave us Russian lessons. And that's when I learned that I could roll my R's and sound like Boris from the show.
From the Rocky and the Bullwinkle?
Indeed.
Yeah.
With the squirrel and the flying. So,
what about Eiffel? Was there any particular things that influenced him, or was that just like Zach uncut?
I think that was basically just, I mean, from our very, very early, because originally, do they know this? That originally?
They might know this.
So when Gabrielle had a fever dream for Wolf 359, it was a one-man radio show, and Eiffel was that one man.
And the other characters existed, but the design was that you would never actually hear them on the show. You would only get Eiffel's stories about them, but you wouldn't actually hear Minkowski or HERA or Hilbert until far, far, far into the depths of the show.
And I know this is meandering away from the question of what has inspired me, but basically the very first thing that we did was he wrote the pilot and I read it, I think just like on my computer mic, and sent it to him. And that was it. And then the story of how I became a co-producer on the show was slowly pushing more and more that it not just be me, because I didn't think that that would be fun for anyone involved over a long period of time.
And he was very, very right on that score.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's been such a blast working with the other folks. So I think, very early on, the direction was just to kind of play Eiffel as I am, because he
or at least a version of you.
Yeah, I think there's been questions, and there are, I think, some here about where the line between Eiffel and Zach starts and ends.
That paper thin line that like divides the two.
Depends on the day, but I think that does that answer that question?
Sure. I think that's a thorough answer
healthy
on where both Eiffel and Hilbert come from.
I guess the only thing that I can say additionally to that you might find interesting is, so I, in 2012, was recently graduated from college, just doing some freelance film work, not so, like, I was doing fine, but not like thrilled about life. And one of the things that wasn't thrilling was that I'd given up on a dream to act with my voice, which was a dream born, what Michaela will remember, when I was in the 6th grade, I got a cough at the end of the year. And that cough lasted for over 8 months into 7th grade. And when it went away, my voice dropped like 17 octaves and I sounded a lot like this. And one of the dudes in the grade actually convinced Michaela, who was like the coolest girl in the 6th grade, that I had SARS, because that was when SARS was a thing. And so every time she would see me in the hallway, she would actually like literally sprint away like this, because she thought I had SARS. But yeah, so my voice dropped, and I always dreamed of doing voiceover, but it was like that joke. And I would, people called me movie phone from time to time. And so zoom forward to college, I'd had a bunch of conversations about how it's a great idea, but like not realistic to pursue. Basically I took a couple classes in commercial voiceover, and they taught me 2 things. One voice was branded and the other was commercial, which is the difference between too cool for school and super ingratiating. So like, the most disgusting sandwich you'll never eat, only $5.95, or like the most expensive car you'll never afford.
And I think that like very early on in Eiffel, my like direction was like never do either one of those ever again, with one of my scripts.
So it's basically been a process of unlearning, which has been really healthy, and that's my very long-winded answer to that question.
Yeah, that's I think the main thing that I do as a director. I just like destroy skills. I just like take what other people have learned. I'm just like no, stop. Just like forget all that useful, intelligent things. Just like go back.
And I love it.
All right. Pick a question.
Okay, let's see. I think my favorite one would have to be the not question.
No, the only statement that we got, like every single thing we got had a question mark at the end, except for this one statement, which was, please don't let any harm come to HERA. She is a precious, perfect child that's already been through so much. Don't let anything bad happen to her. She just wants to live. Period.
Whoever asked that question, just slow clap. I love it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they're watching the correct show for that, because terrible things tend to happen to absolutely everyone. But your sentiment is very much appreciated and very duly noted.
I love it. Okay, so let's see. How about the? I feel like this is maybe a good question. How long do you think or hope your podcast will continue? Like, do you already know how many more seasons / episodes it'll be? Or are you more just seeing where it takes you?
It's a little bit of both. My answer to that is basically, I have a very good idea about how the show is going to end. I have a very good idea about what the last scene is going to be. I have like a very good idea about what the last note in the symphony is. I'm not sure if we're taking, I'm not sure if like, basically I know where we're driving to. I don't know if we're flooring the gas pedal or if we're taking the pretty way. Right now, because the show has had such a like great reaction from a lot of people, and because we've ended up getting so many talented people that are really fun to work with involved, I think that it's starting to take like a little bit more the long path and a little bit more the like long developmental, explore like the details and let it breathe path. But I don't know if something were to happen, or like, if things just progress that way, I think that it would not be crazy to think that the show could end after the 3rd season. I think that 4 or 5 is probably the healthy guess right now, given how much route I think we still need to go. But with that said, it's kind of designed with like all these very intentional blanks and all these intentional question marks along the way, where it's not like we have the super thorough outline of absolutely everything that's happening. It's like a very, very big plot line that is happening right now in season 2 is something that like 6 months ago I had no idea we would be in.
We definitely had like episode 6, very, very specific thing. Episode 7, very specific thing. Episode 8, question mark.
Yeah.
Episode 9.
And I think that that's kind of by design. I think that that's kind of a like thing that like the show has gotten better because we have been making decisions 3 or 4 episodes ahead of the curve, rather than kind of trying to predict where our minds are going to be 20 episodes down the line or 40 episodes down the line.
And at the same time, like, we've definitely had ideas early on that have come to fruition, that have sort of guided some decisions, which is cool. Like, you've definitely had the picture in your mind of the ending in a while. But yeah, and it's been really cool. And this may segue into another question kind of naturally, but like, one of the questions was how much influence I have in the show as co-producer and as an actor. And I think
just like how much do all the actors
have? And I think overwhelmingly the answer is like way more than we ever had the right to. And it's just been a really beautiful, natural, collaborative process. Gabrielle is super open to ideas. I can't even make a joke about that he's militant in rehearsals about lines. There's like maybe one line every 6 episodes that he has strong feelings about, and that's kind of it.
Well, I think that it's very easy to be that way when I'm working with like people that are as smart as you guys. No, I mean it. Because, I
Can you see me blushing right now?
I wish that I could just kind of go like every single brilliant idea, every single comma in the show is like out of my brain. But like so much of it has been like people just coming up to me and telling me like, ooh, guys, wouldn't it be cool if like we did this thing? And I'm like, yes, it would be cool. Let's do that thing.
Funny story time. Segue to question about husbands.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But like, for example, speaking of Emma, Box 953 in season 1, the entire plot line about them having a talent show and about like the singing and about Minkowski getting drunk and about like all of that, that was something that like Emma sent me an email one time where it was like, so I had like these ideas. What if like this happened and this happened and this happened? And I was just like, thank you, Emma. I don't need to come up with something this week. That goes into the show, finished as it is. But yeah, I think that like in general, there's kind of a policy of I am willing to listen to every single idea, and I want to listen to every single idea. And a lot of those ideas, I think, do make it onto the show because a lot of them are really, really good. Yeah. Cool. Were you saying something?
Oh, somebody had asked about Minkowski's.
Yeah.
It's really funny. If I do Hilbert more, suddenly it's Minkowski. If I've been doing Eiffel more, it's
You slip back into the old habit, into the bad habits. Yeah. No, but people wanted
two men in my brain.
But people wanted to know where did the idea of the story with Minkowski being married come from?
To thoroughly dispel any myths of grand master storytelling that we've thought about this from, eons and all the planning.
No, that was definitely not the case with that regard. That was kind of very early on. I think right after we'd right after we had recorded the first episode. I had a meeting with Emma when we were kind of sitting down and just spent like an hour talking about the character and about who she was and where she'd come from, and just kind of like all of these different questions about where we wanted to take her and what she was. And I think that one of the big things that we were struggling to come to grips with was kind of like what makes her human beyond kind of her role as this station commander, and kind of what like makes her like a person beyond this role that she has. And I think that that's where a lot of kind of like the love of musical theater and like the ice cream and kind of her more ridiculous side was coming through. But we were still kind of like trying to figure out like, there's like an old saying that's like, you need to find like the contradictions in your characters, where it's like, a cheerleader, that's a character type, but like a cheerleader that like really likes wrestling. When you figure out like what that person is that can like bring together both of those things, that's a character. And we had this moment when we were just kind of like tossing out like ideas, and I think that it was Emma who kind of went like, is she married? And we both sort of had this like first initial like, nah, and they were like, although, and all of a sudden it was just kind of like, it put the character in such a like refreshing lens, because we both had this like gut reaction of like, of course she's not married. Like, it's this character.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden just kind of being like, wait, hang on a second. Actually, that's really interesting. And that like brings so much into focus in such an interesting way.
You should have seen all our faces when we read those first scripts. We were like, no way.
Yeah.
We came to the table reading just like, mind explode.
Yeah, because me and Emma kept that under our hats for like a while.
They did a good job.
Yeah, until we got to Am I Alone Now? Yeah, I don't think that was in like a lot of the documentation. But yeah, so that was definitely something that like just came from talking to Emma and just like feeling through the character, rather than like coming in with like, this is the master plan and we will follow through on every single word of this.
Yep. And and it's really cool. Like, I, as an actor, I've had a bit of imposter syndrome. I've been like a dude with a voice for most of my acting career. I did like acting 101 in college and like a couple 24-hour plays, but I never really felt like an actor. I felt like a guy that likes to act likes to pretend to be an actor, if anything. And so it's cool to work with Emma and Cece, who and Michaela, who was Michaela a theater major also? I don't know.
I don't think so.
She did a lot of
so
theater.
much,
She did
so much acting.
Theater. Yeah.
So much acting.
And Emma and Cece were both theater majors, and so I feel like I've gotten to stretch a lot as an actor working with people who have a process and like have a method and I come at this with basically only madness. And so it's really cool to like, listen to Cece tear her character apart and dig deeper than maybe Gabrielle would have originally. And by maybe, I mean absolutely. And it's just cool to like, to see that sort of process of inspiration come out from that collaboration, and remember that I could ask those questions too.
And speaking of asking questions, let's get a new question.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Zach, the people they demand to know.
Oh no.
What are the top 5 things on your bucket list, Zach Valenti?
Oh man, great question. Well, I checked off skydiving, but now I want to do it without a guy on my back. So that's definitely
No. That's something you already did. Come on, you need to like.
Okay, but is not getting my license, is that a thing?
Getting your skydiving
Yeah,
license.
yeah.
Okay,
to
sure.
do it like
okay.
So that's on. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that out loud. It's terrifying. I did it because I'm afraid of heights. Okay, so that's one. Why don't you have to do one and then I'll do one. We'll switch off.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
All right, fine. I want to go diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll keep track of yours.
Okay.
Cool. I want to. Let's see. Other coworker. Do you want to say hi, Chris?
Hi.
And
guys.
distract from me coming up with another thing. All right.
Don't vibe, Zach. Come on.
Okay. I want to go on a motorcycle tour. Okay. That's maybe two. Well, they're kind of the same thing. I either want to, and you can count it, bike ride across America or motorcycle tour across India. Because India is just bigger. That doesn't make sense to bike.
Okay.
It's one or the other.
Sure. All right. Okay, so that's two. Man, of course, as soon as you put these things in context, like your mind goes completely blank. I do at one point want to teach a class. Like that's something that I
Nice.
do want to do at some point in my life. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one too.
Hey, now takes these.
Okay, I won't steal it, but I am going to teach a class on filmmaking.
Hey, there you go.
But anyway, that is neither here nor there. I know she doesn't have a show anymore, but I want to be on Oprah. I want to be on Oprah's show.
On whatever the equivalent.
Whatever. I mean, okay. Basically, I want to be on. I want to hang out with Oprah and Ellen DeGeneres. I just want to hang out with those ladies. They're cool.
Okay. I want to master a musical instrument of some sort.
Nice. Which
No.
one?
Piano, I think, is the right fit for me.
Oh, nice. Good night.
Hey guys.
You have to come in front of
You
the
can just
camera.
walk into this video and be on it.
You can walk
it's
into
live
the-
streaming.
I don't. Oh, it's live.
Yeah, it is live.
You have to come down.
I was about to brush my teeth.
That's Chris, everyone.
It's just like all but one.
Sometimes we brush our teeth at the office.
There you go.
That's
Are
right.
people watching this?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Um,
amazing.
okay, so we're at 3.
Yeah, we're at 3.
So you want to master a musical instrument?
Yeah,
Okay,
piano,
so now it's
probably a likely
my
one.
turn. I would love to act in a feature film.
Okay. That's a good one. I want to be prosperous enough that I can have a room in my house just dedicated to books.
Nice.
Whether that's a library or a study or literally just like a book deposit, something where it's just like, oh, that's my book room. I think
That's pretty bad.
pretty important goal that I'm stealing from someone I know, but I heard it and I was like, no, that's a new life goal for me.
Okay,
You
cool.
know,
That just added like a whole new dimension of things.
do something with your books, man.
I want to be a book. No.
All right, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's 5 for Zach Valenti. One day inspire a
That's
book,
right.
I guess.
I want to be a book.
You
You're
want
going to make me into a book when I'm ready for being turned into a book. Hilbert, take
Lord,
notes.
don't take notes, Hilbert. Yeah, I mean, I think for my last one, maybe just something that is like at some point do some like transcontinental travel that's like from ocean to ocean, which I have kind of done, but it's been like for like other specific goals. I just want one that is just travel for travel's sake.
Okay, so not the Wolf 359 World Tour.
No, that's its own thing. That's a different entry in the
Because
bucket
that's number
list.
6 for me.
I think that's number
I
6
can't
for me
believe that
too.
wasn't number 1.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, we can talk about live shows
That
later.
was so hard.
I know, right?
Oh my
that was
God.
so much more harder than I thought it was going to be.
Oh my god. I
Okay,
feel so exposed.
all right, come on.
Okay,
Well, that's what
moving
Ask Me
on.
Anythings are
Okay.
for. Now it's your turn.
Okay.
You have to pick one. That's a good one.
Yeah. But it's dangerous because we can't tell some of them.
Okay, so we'll keep it vague. But the question is,
have you seen any fan theories that correctly guess something that's going to happen on the show?
and the answer to that is yes. We have seen some things on Tumblr where people are like, huh, I wonder if like this is going to happen. And we're like, yeah, that's a good one.
Wow.
Don't get too cocky because we've also seen a lot of things that are like,
Yeah, really
that's a
cool.
really good guess
Really
that is
cool.
just
Yeah.
not quite right. Like that's like extrapolating very smartly in just the wrong direction.
I can't believe you went for that. I was gonna neither confirm nor deny, but that's just me.
No. I will not say which ones are correct.
Okay.
I will say that there's one in particular that I was like,
I know it.
I'm
I
a
think
little scared.
I think I know which one.
I'm a little scared that you guys were able to predict that based on like the hints that are happening. And we will say no more of that. But like, absolutely, yes, there have been some theories that are correct floating around the internet.
I'll just say I'm impressed.
Yeah, it is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's me. Was that you?
I picked that one. It's
Okay,
your turn.
great.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna check in on the feed.
on the feed? Okay, while you do that, here's the next question. If you could bring in any living artist to work on the show for an episode, who would it be? What about people who have passed away?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think about who I would say.
I mean, I would just want Terry Gilliam to be in the
Oh,
role,
that would be so
'cause
great.
He's my like personal creator.
But do you want to have Terry Gilliam on the radio? Like, doesn't that feel a little like missing?
Well, okay, I just want to hang out with him. Let's
Sure.
go.
Okay. Fine. What about people who have passed away?
I mean, did Abraham Lincoln like to write for the radio?
Okay. Sure. So we're doing Terry Gilliam and Abraham Lincoln.
I'm just picking dudes I want to hang out with that aren't around.
Okay. Sure.
Either because
sure.
of massive fame and success or death.
Okay. Fine.
Or both. Casey Neistat.
Lord, yeah, that would make me really happy.
I really like Casey.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Like, really cool dude from everything you've shown me. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's your question turn.
Okay. Who are you?
Somebody to get away with that.
What? Who does he think he is? Great.
Hoping to just like slide by while you were distracted with the feed.
Never.
I don't know. For people who have passed away, I would give like my pinky finger to get Willis Cooper, who wrote Quiet Please, to write an episode of Wolf 359.
Nice.
Just because he is just like such a terrifying person in terms of how evolved his thinking was about radio and about what you could do with like audio only narratives.
I was only half paying attention because Tori caught that your phone is living on the edge.
Oh. So yeah, so I would say Willis Cooper for people who have passed away. People who are alive, I don't know. I think that Alan Rickman would be a good guest starring voice.
So fun to
Yeah.
work with. Oh man.
Get someone.
Jim Dale. I want Jim Dale
Oh,
to
that would
play
be really
Eiffel's
good.
dad.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Let's get him on the phone right now.
Oh crap, Lee's on.
Yeah, I've been chatting with the fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they love you guys.
So funny. I love you, and I love you.
Okay, so that was me. Now it's your turn.
Okay.
And this one we already did too.
Okay.
Here, let's go to a different page.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna go to the end.
You're gonna go
Wow,
to the
this
end?
is such a long list. You guys
Yeah.
did awesome.
So many questions. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I could just do it. So the question is,
Yeah.
can Zach show us a bit of what he looks like when he does Eiffel versus Hilbert? A quick conversation between the two, maybe.
Maybe about toothpaste, maybe about the undying love, maybe about spectral trajectories. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Well,
That's maybe, so you don't need to follow any of those.
Undying love, spectral trajectories. I wish I knew what that was. But okay.
I'll go with toothpaste.
I really hate to ask you, Doc, but we're out of toothpaste, and well, Commander made me come down here. Apparently, it's become a problem. My hygiene is a public health concern. Eiffel, why is it you come to me at this hour? You know it is my staring out the window time. Oh God, somebody's here. Oh,
Go for it. We'll resume this in just one
I
moment.
got him.
Lee's got him.
oh, God damn it, he stole my out. See, I'm nothing without words from Gabrielle in front of me. It's basically a anchorman situation here, and I'll read whatever you put in front of me.
It's true. He will. It's absolutely true that he will.
But yeah, so I think the big things to answer the question is like for later series Hilbert, he's got arms behind the back when he's in some kind of power trip mode. Otherwise he's Mr. Burnsing.
Oh, that's a good, yeah.
It is
It's kind of
much
like
this.
it's all scheming and
It's
forward.
all scheming. It's all very, very dark and not happy thoughts. Whereas with Eiffel, it's very open and maybe kick up the legs and higher register and then it comes back down and very intense and not very happy and no smile. Never smile. No smile. Negative smile. And then it's like, hey, come on, guys. She's special guest has arrived. Interrupting the embarrassment fest for Zach.
Oh, I don't know. I think that we can come back to the embarrassment fest for Zach. Just like hold on for a second.
Bye, Lee.
Bye.
Say goodbye.
Bye, stream. Y'all's is great. Wolf for life. Enjoy the rest of the stream.
In case anybody has been doubting it, Lee is awesome and we love Lee.
Lee's the best.
Yeah. Coming in, yeah, please. Yeah. So special guest star, this is Cecilia Lynn Jacobs, who
Also
plays
known
Captain
as-
Lovelace on the show.
Hello.
And she's
her
been
hair
kind
is-
enough to join us.
Kind of wet. Is it
Ridiculous.
raining?
It's pouring.
Oh
Oh,
no.
no.
Pouring.
It's very wet outside in New York.
Do
right
they know
now.
we're in New York?
Well, now they know. We're in New York City, where apparently
Oh my
it's
God.
pouring all the time.
Lee, they're all saying goodbye.
Peace, guys.
Oh my God. And Rachel screams.
Bye, Lee.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh my Yes. Lovelace. Okay,
So
this is
yeah,
great.
catch me up on what you guys have been talking about.
Mostly about Zach and Hilbert and Eiffel. It's mostly just been on
That's
that.
fair.
No, we talked a little bit about like the start of the show and about a little bit of writing, a little bit of the creative process. But then it's mostly been Zach and Eiffel. Oh, we talked about our bucket
Join the
lists.
men's spread.
Yeah, bucket lists.
Do you want water? Anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, till later.
Oh my God. Lee is the best.
I do like Lee.
We got ice cream here.
Lee, can I get you to make me a special?
All
I
right.
don't know what that is.
All right, guys, let's focus. Here,
Okay,
Cece, do you want to take the
yes.
next question?
Oh, the highlighted one?
No,
Anyone.
Those are
Anyone that's not underlined. The underlined ones are the
Oh,
ones.
I
And
that's
keep in
done.
mind, we have 4 full pages of questions.
Oh my gosh, wait.
Yeah, spoilers, guys.
Other
We're not
people
getting.
asked?
Yes.
We're not getting through all of them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're so good.
Well, Gabrielle, why don't you choose one that you think would be appropriate for me to answer?
For everyone to
Because
answer.
a lot of these are like very
Go for it.
specific. Oh,
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, sure. So the question that Zach has just brought to the table and destroyed.
And deleted.
No, we got it back. It's okay. Is if you could port the Wolf 359
Yes.
characters into any other fictional universe, what would it be? Similarly, what universe would you most like to see fused with the Wolf 359 verse? I mean,
Oh my goodness.
Seinfeld? Just like Seinfeld all the time?
Really? I was going to go in a
This guy is too
completely
much.
different direction with this.
No. What were you going to go? Well, I think of
Um,
my real answer. That's not Seinfeld.
Okay, cool. Like Ursula Le Guin style Left Hand of Darkness world.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Super weird.
Okay.
But
That
I
would
think
be
it'd be really fun. I do. I think that there would be all kinds of interesting like implications, like the whole introduction of humor into that kind of world.
Yeah. Yeah, like combining like
Yes, like-
our tone
like our
with like
for-
that.
yeah, like that kind of tone with like that kind
Level of
like,
gravitas.
level of well thought political content.
Unlike us, who have no political content or well thought
No,
out things.
definitely not
So-
at all. No, Gabrielle, you really kind of fly off the cuff. You never think about this stuff ever.
Okay, Zach, come on, focus. What's your answer?
My answer, nice,
I like
my answer-
you.
actually feeds into another question
Okay.
because my answer would be Archer. And the
Oh,
question would
yeah.
be,
Yeah.
would we ever consider working in another medium, i.e. how Night Vale is doing a novel?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is I'm not sure.
Yeah. Depends how many zeros are at the end of that.
That is the bottom
Oh my
line.
gosh,
For
classic Zach.
for enough zeros, we will make it.
Oh,
For enough
Oh,
zeros,
right,
we will
yeah.
make it work. No. Realistically, Wolf 359 was conceived as an audio-only medium.
Specifically because of budget and
Budget.
freedom of
yeah.
Yeah.
being able to produce something we'd be proud of technically that wouldn't break the bank.
And I think that the other factor is, this is not the case anymore, but when Zach and I started this, back when, as we mentioned before, it was going to be a one-man show, I was living in LA and he was living in New York. So we were looking for something that we could produce for a very low budget, that would be like very satisfying, and which we could do without the two of us being in the same room. So
Many a late phone call on the East Coast, feverishly walking back and forth, like trying to cast and figure out
yeah,
like all the things between
yeah.
the coasts.
but the show was very designed to be something that is like audio only, and something that like benefits from the fact that like you're not actually seeing all these things, and that there are not any like set visuals. And I've said before that like I think that a lot of our best episodes, like The Empty Man, are episodes where the plot and what the audience is going through and what the characters are going through all come down to like listening to something that you can't see. And so I think that like it would be interesting to kind of rethink how these characters and these situations could be transported to a different medium where that wasn't so importantly at the forefront of it. And I'm not sure how well I haven't given it a lot of thought, because we took the time to create something that was very aimed at being audio only. So yeah, like I'm definitely open to considering it. I'm not sure how it would work. It would be a very interesting experiment to try out.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that Gabrielle and I have talked about more, and why I love the question, is like, between, if you were to take it to a visual medium, between live action and animation, I think it's a more animated world.
Yeah.
I also am
Yeah.
selfishly invested in being able to play all the characters that I play, which is somewhat challenged by putting me on camera.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Say toot.
I love working in the audio form.
it's great.
Just I love it just because you do have so much flexibility in that way, and I like that you have so much flexibility in how people picture the characters, and you have a lot of like I'm in, I don't know, I like it. I like that we're freed from some of the like traditional casting constraints of like a visual medium.
And I think that just in terms of the experience itself, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but as someone who came into radio after spending years working in film and going through film school, radio has been just a blast to produce, because compared to film, which is so slow and repetitive and just kind of like expensive, and like not even putting aside the expense, but just in terms of like how long and how excruciating the process is of just getting like things onto film, radio is so fast and so visceral and just like so immediate. And it's one of those beautiful things where like you set up microphones, you get things rolling, and then you're there. You're not stopping to like move lights or reset props or like fine tune makeup. You're just like focusing on like the storytelling in a more immediate sense. So that's been like a ton of fun.
Okay, who's next?
I think I am.
Nice.
There was one that reminded me of one that was a good one. This one?
Well, we don't have to, but
Sure, let's do this one. So CC has pointed out, we know that Minkowski likes ice cream and Eiffel loves pizza. What about Hilbert and Lovelace?
what does Hilbert like? This is something that I wonder about.
Hilbert likes like Soylent Green, I think. Hilbert is just like, this is so efficient in terms of the protein intake. I really should not do my Hilbert voice on
It's really good.
record.
It's
No,
really
it's terrible.
I think that this is recorded forever, so I think that
Yeah, that is now officially on the record, which is bad.
No, I don't think that's bad. I think that's wonderful.
Anyway, But yeah, I think that like some kind of like high efficiency protein shake a thingamajigger is probably like
Yeah.
Hilbert's thing of choice.
They want to cast Lee as the star itself.
Hey Lee, you want a job? All right, coming soon. Coming soon.
Oh my God, you guys are the best.
Season 3. Season 3, it's gonna happen.
Yes, what does Hilbert love? Oh my God. You know
Yes.
all he loves is science. There is nothing but science that Hilbert loves. Except for sushi.
Sometimes.
I can see
Maybe
that.
once
I
upon a time.
I can see that actually. Yeah, it's his like thing of
It
choice.
was out
Yeah.
of character.
That
We
one
liked it.
night. But it will. That night will never be forgotten.
Yeah.
Hajiki salad make me smile.
Okay, I can't do this. This is far too distracting.
Let's see. Loveless. Oh, I think she vacillates between like totally ridiculous decadent food
Uh-huh.
and like really, really straightforward, simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like, on the one hand, it's like the like double like peanut butter brittle cookie thing with like caramel sauce and dulce de leche and like crazy stuff on it. But then on the other hand, it's just like just high protein bread and like turkey, like just that. Like no mayonnaise, no tomato, no anything. Does that
Yeah, just kind of.
sound about right? Like
I mean, I think
it's
that
like one
that's-
or the other.
I think that that's like, in many ways, a lot about Lovelace's character is
Mhm.
like that of just kind of like either going for like all frills or no frills,
Yeah.
and just kind of like being like anything in the middle is for suckers.
Yeah.
Go like enormous or go home.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, in all seriousness, I think that Hilbert has a fondness for all things astronaut. Like, I think he actually like
Yeah.
has a thing for
Mm.
astronaut ice cream specifically,
Huh.
and would never admit it to anyone.
Probably not. Does he even admit it to himself?
Maybe not, but I think that there's like a lot of stuff like that. A lot of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Hilbert cultivating a persona of like,
Oh yeah,
I only like science and everything else is terrible. But inside there's like the growing list.
you got to
of, like,
imagine as like a boy in like the Sovietist Russia, like
Yeah.
the most Soviet, just being like outer space, interesting.
Yeah.
I think Loveless loves blueberries.
Blueberries.
Yeah.
She would.
Okay.
We have some.
Oh.
I think they're in the fridge. Anyway,
Okay.
Well,
So
when she comes by later, we'll make sure to give her some.
Okay. So now it's your turn, Zach, I think.
okay. My next one I'm going to get from the comments, so leave some.
From the live stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to pick one from here right now. I don't remember the answer to that question. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yay!
Oh, we answered this other one too.
Yeah.
Damn it. He's missing the command button.
You know that there's
on his
another
laptop.
command button
I
on this
know,
side, right?
I know, but I'm partial.
And you know that this one still works. Like you can still hold
I
it
know, but
down.
it's like the little
So like
rubber.
there's no problem really aside from you not being able to do this.
Okay, fine. So this is where the line between Eiffel and Zach, my incompetence with anything electronic, except not at all. But
No,
Oh,
not
you
at
said
all.
the iPhone ones.
yeah, rice.
Yeah, you did.
Put wet
Yeah.
iPhones in rice.
My iPhone fell into a pond. He saved it. It was
My
great.
greatest accomplishment to date.
It's
That
why
was
we're
back in
friends.
college.
It was.
Oh my god.
It
Anyway,
was.
we all went to college together,
We
by the
did.
way. If that wasn't clear. We're all Wesleyan alumni, and that's how we met. And, and we were in the film major, and that's how we met. And nobody asked that question.
But yeah,
Now-
but like I think
No, I
that
don't
like
think they can.
nobody in the
That's
show
okay.
so far has been a non-Wesleyan person, right?
What about alternative recording artists?
No, James is still.
James is from
Oh
Wesleyan
my
too.
God.
Yeah.
No,
Even
no,
Alan
there was one
Rhodey. There was
person.
one person.
There was one person.
I thought.
Who?
I thought two.
I can't come up with them.
Then they don't exist.
Oh my god. So yeah. So
I
anyway,
thought there was one non-Wesleyan person. We had a whole conversation about how we were like
we were so
breaking the
close.
streak. Yeah.
But anyway, if we come up with it,
if we remember,
we will make a
clearly they
whole
weren't
Tumblr
important.
post about it. I promise.
Okay.
But in the meantime, Gabrielle, can you tell us a few more tips from Price and Carter?
No, I can't.
Damn it! Damn it! That's not. It should be allowed. It should be a have to.
No, I mean,
have to answer anything.
I mean, the honest answer is right now, like sitting
Yeah.
in this couch. No, I cannot.
Funny story though. The original idea for our Twitter
Yeah.
thing was going to be like in the vein of Night Vale, to do like weird transmissions from the world. And then at some point, Gabrielle realized that Twitter was exhausting.
No, more than that. I mean, well, that
Tumblr was way more fun.
that is absolutely true, and I do like genuinely hate
Can you
Twitter.
explain why you love Tumblr? Because I think it says a lot about who you are and why
Yes.
you're awesome.
No, and this folds into that. Like the actual problem that I ran into with putting Price and Carter things on Twitter is that after a while I realized that part about what made them funny and engaging in the show was that a lot of them were sort of these like very verbose, overblown explanations of very simple things. And when all of a sudden you slap the, 150 character limit on Twitter,
We should know this.
it was just,
It's 140.
140.
140 characters.
Yeah.
At first it was kind of like, ooh, this is an interesting challenge to kind of like try to make this work. And after a while, it was just like, no, this is just like sapping the life out of them and like getting it so constricted and so restrictive that like it's not actually working or humorous. And it's just taking like a little bit more brain power than I have to kind of like make them consistently funny and consistently engaging and still consistently related to things that are happening in the show with that. And then sort of around the same time, I started to do like a little bit more work on Tumblr, and I sort of did kind of as an experiment. I think the moment when we switched over and stopped doing Twitter content regularly is when last December, every day of the month, I posted a small essay on a radio show that I really liked, or a radio piece that I really loved, or something that influenced Wolf 359. And that's kind of when a switch was flipped of like, this is so much more engaging and so much more effective and so much more satisfying to me than anything that we do on Twitter. But to go back to this, no, I mean, I wish that I could be one of those writers that just like immediately, like you said, like go and on command, I could give you like fully formed Price and Carter things. But no, those actually take like a very long time to write, and those take like a very long time to kind of like, consider and think out. So no, I don't have any like off the top of my head.
I'm promising them that whatever I could
God
make
darn
for
it.
merchandise would look like crap and they wouldn't want to buy it but they want some.
Okay. This will be like interesting to kind of see like how far, like this
I
can
might-
mark the like gap between what we say and how we get in the stream.
Get crafty.
What are you saying?
This is so good. What if Goddard Futuristics astronaut food
Nah, that's pretty
for
bad.
merchandise?
That's pretty bad.
Delicious. I would eat it. I would live off
I
of it
don't
if
think
we
I
made
don't
it.
think it'd
Okay.
be good.
Zach, you picked that one, right?
I did pick that one, and
Okay.
then you sneakely didn't answer it, but that's
I think
okay.
that was a like
Yeah,
thorough answer.
That was a thorough answer. That was valuable to me. No. Yeah, it's your turn now.
I guess so.
No, we're going this way, I think. Right?
So
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead and
Oh,
use
it's
I
it.
your
really
turn. No,
don't
it's your
care.
turn. It's your turn.
Okay,
I picked
sure.
Yeah, do the thing.
I'm not keeping track. I'm in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't be, I don't think.
Get in there.
What?
You shouldn't be, because like this way you're not focusing so much on the conversation.
Oh, so I should be here.
Yeah, you should be here.
Gabrielle
Correct.
says, "Be here now, Zach."
Yeah.
Okay.
How about this? Has there ever been a creative decision on which the team strongly disagreed? Aside from our website.
Yeah. I can't remember. I can't remember
Yeah.
one.
There have been
Yeah.
tweakings, but everybody ends up on the same page.
Yeah,
I,
I think.
I haven't felt. There's been no creative thing that was like, whoa.
No.
phones. That doesn't work. Like,
Yeah. At least not until what's happening in season 3. Then like all the contract. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Um,
I know. Damn it! I didn't want you to bring it up. I'm still mad about it.
it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, no, I think that like there have been definitely times when like we've gone through a script and like someone has said like, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
And like we have sort of like pieced it out in terms of like, well, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And we've sort of like changed and adapted. And the thing is like, no Wolf 359 script survives first contact with the actors intact. And I mean that in the very best way possible, because immediately, I hear all of the weird things that work when I think them in my head, but that don't work when they're actually coming out of someone's mouth. And B, everyone sort of like gives in all these ideas that are like, well, I think that like my character would see things more this way than that way.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anything that has ever kind of been like,
Nothing derailing.
no. I think that
Yeah.
like the biggest thing was like we had like a lot of arguments when we were designing our website.
Yeah, I wouldn't characterize them as arguments so much
No,
as
debates.
you had a very clear idea of what you like in websites, and I had some things I wanted to experiment with from what I've learned here at my day job at 1 month, where we like do like entrepreneurial courses.
Sure.
And I don't think we were quite ready for those experiments, honestly. And I think Gabrielle was right. And the website is now somewhat like weird because of what I pushed for, which I am like clear that it looks the way it looks because I pushed for that, the button to sign up for the email thing that we haven't done anything with.
Yeah.
And if more people signed up, I think we'd be interested in actually starting an email.
Yeah.
But I think Tumblr has been plenty awesome.
It's one of those things where it's like there's all these projects that like if we had 2 more hours on each day
Or an intern.
or that we would get things off the ground.
Or some lucky person.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the newsletter has kind of been something that has been like, you know, we don't want to just kind of like do it halfway. We want to
Exactly.
like
If
when
we're
we
gonna
launch
do
it
it.
be like a really good newsletter. And we have not quite had like the brain power to like.
And I think we're much more interested in maybe doing merch. Like we've been thinking about Patreon, and like I've been thinking about like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've been recording a lot more video.
We do have a lot of very funny outtakes.
Yeah, the outtakes reel
Oh my
is
God.
actually here's a good Sarah Shackett suggestion. Sarah Shackett or other writers suggested that we answer what is our most memorable either typo on my part or outtake on like the actor's part.
I got this.
Yeah, I think I know what's coming.
So whenever
man.
Gabrielle gets a typo from that started in a first draft and it ends up in the recording booth, he takes a shot. Well, we say he takes a shot. He doesn't
It's a
actually.
pretend drinking game. Yeah.
If he did, everyone
be
would
dead.
end in hospitalization. But my favorite one of all time, and Eiffel's coming out because I'm super excited about this. How could dare you?
How could
How dare you?
Dare you?
How could
I don't
dare
even
you?
remember the context or the episode anymore.
I do.
He remembers. It's just become something that I say every time I see a typo, which is "How could dare you, Gabrielle?"
Yeah.
I say it to people who don't work on the show, and
It's
it
just
doesn't make
become
any
part of
sense.
Zach.
They're just so
I love it so much, and Gabrielle hates when they bring it back.
It's in the Empty Man script. It was after Eiffel sort of like saw the final transmission from Command. And I think that my original line was, I can't believe that they did this. No, how could they do this to us was the original line. And then when I was rewriting it, I kind of did like, no, that's not what it should be. It should be, how dare they?
And I Ron Burgundied it so hard.
Basically,
and just
like-
was like, "How could dare you?"
Yeah, like
and then I
I
realized what I said.
I gave them like half of each line. And Zach, like, yeah, Ron Burgundy all the way. Like, you know, he said it completely in character. He said it with like the anger and the indignation. He didn't miss a beat. Like, there wasn't like a moment of like, huh, that's a weird line. It was just like, you know,
It's
like
Doug Eiffel might say that.
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Emma had a
Commit.
line and just like the commitment was there. And it took like 5 minutes to get like everything back on track after
Oh
that
my
because we
God.
were all like, just like, you guys were all laughing. I was like imploding into a ball of shame about like just how terrible that typo was.
That's my favorite typo.
Yeah.
My favorite
on a
outtake.
shirt now.
Oh my God. There's
Yeah.
our merch.
Yeah.
We-
How
we
could
saw
dare
How
it.
could dare us?
And
Yeah.
or hashtag.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hashtag how could dare I? How could dare you?
How could dare
you?
anyone?
How could
Yeah.
dare all of us?
How could dare we?
And then I get my favorite thing that wasn't recorded selfishly is I did a banter between Eiffel and Hilbert Are we back?
I don't know. We still blue over here, but there's a delay, so who knows? Let's refresh and see what happens. Oh yeah, I think we're back now, Zach.
Yep.
And we're here.
Okay.
Just
Sorry about that, everyone.
eating blueberry.
Zach's computer decided that
Oh.
they'd had enough of us and was just like, we're done.
Oh God.
You okay?
Yeah.
Breathe.
I know. I
Breathe.
broke into a slight cold sweat.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You were saying something about your favorite outtake?
There's
Oh, basically, it just got weird between Eiffel and Hilbert before we started recording. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. That was a little anticlimactic after our whole like adventure there, but it's okay. Next question. Actually, do you want to get one from like the stream? Did you have one?
Yeah. I don't have one yet, but I'm scrolling back.
Before I destroy these by accident, somebody take these away. Thanks.
It's I see no questions.
Okay, then we can go back to the pre.
How could dare you? So Gabrielle,
Yeah.
how could dare you?
I could
Yeah,
dare
it's-
very easily.
How could I think?
Yo,
I
Lee,
think
did you see
shirts
any
are in
questions
order.
in the stream
We
that
might
were
have
good?
to. We might have to copyright that.
Where we went to school?
Yeah, no, what you majored in.
Ah,
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Majored in.
okay.
So what you majored in, and I'll let you know if there's another one.
All right, great.
So our stream friend Lee is telling us that someone wanted to know what we studied in school. Zach and I were both film majors. CC was theater.
Mhm.
CC was theater. And I'm not sure about the other people if they're okay with
Emma's
divulging that
theater.
info. Yeah. But yeah,
oh, I see privacy things.
yeah, that's okay. I think we'd already mentioned them, so
Yeah. And
that's okay.
Alan didn't study any music. That obviously.
It's
didn't
also on her website.
No.
That's
Alan
true, that's
studied everything except music. Yeah, he's basically winging it. Okay.
the unsung hero of Wolf 359.
Oh, I
His
sing in. I
music
sing
is
in
so
as often as I
good.
can. Yeah,
He's so good.
I know.
yeah. Such a great guy and does so much good work for us.
Alright, I got more questions for you.
Ooh, more questions. Hit
Okay,
us.
what's up?
What's your favorite kind of dog?
Oh, that's
Like
easy.
a dog?
Yeah, Labrador Retriever.
Portuguese water dog.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, what about corgis?
Yeah.
Oh, corgis.
I know.
Put
No.
in their butts.
No Labradors.
No, it's all about a corgi.
The question there was, which is our favorite dog?
Corgis.
No, I like Labradoodles personally.
Okay.
Here's another one. What year does the story take place?
That's
That's a good
That's
question.
a very.
That's a very good question. My standard answer to that has always been, it's happening more or less in the present, but in a kind of alternate universe where space travel got started a few decades before it did in like our reality.
Mhm.
Which kind of helps me account for the fact that like they can be at this place that is like 8 light years away from Earth. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be, other than that in artificial intelligence, there doesn't seem to be like all that many major technological developments. And also Eiffel's pop culture references are more or less in line with like a pop culture that is like very similar to contemporary Earth.
Mhm.
So my idea has always been that whatever the day number on episode 1, which I think was 445, that was August 15th, 2014, which is the day that the first episode premiered. But yeah, it's happening in a more or less contemporary setting where it's just kind of a universe that got started on the space exploration track maybe like 20 to 30 years before we did, and has obviously made some like very impressive breakthroughs a lot quicker than we have. Yeah.
The more you
Got
know.
another one.
All right.
Any of the characters play instruments?
I like to think that Eiffel has a.
The question, hang on a second. We should repeat the question because Lee,
Yeah,
because
that's true. That's true.
because,
That's a good
yeah.
practice.
So the question was from the stream was, do any of the characters play a musical instrument? Stacey looks like she has an answer.
I think Loveless maybe like attempted oboe when she was like a little too small to hold an oboe.
Like when the oboe was considerably larger than her.
Yeah, like, like there are probably some old band photos somewhere of Captain Loveless.
That's pretty
When she
good.
was Izzy,
Baby Loveless.
Izzy in Brooklyn.
Spin-off show.
I could see like teenage Eiffel trying to pick up guitar as a like,
Oh yeah.
I am going to be so the popular kid. I am going to like,
Totally gonna charm all the babes.
Settling for whistling because let's be real, practice.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly.
Practice. God.
So I don't think that any of them competently play an
Mm.
instrument.
Mm-mm.
Except for me.
No,
Minkowski.
no.
She plays the harp.
No.
Here's another one.
Okay.
Do any of you have a favorite episode in terms of writing or acting, etc.?
So the question is, do we have a favorite episode? My favorite episode is The Empty Man Cometh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about that episode, I think, for all of us. I mean, that was when my family went from listening to their family member's thing to, holy crap, why? And when is the next one?
Yeah.
And that was that was really special. It was also just fun to make.
It was.
We were like in the studio, just like, okay, can you hear? Like we were like right there. It was cool.
I just remember, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want you to get self-conscious and stop doing it. But I just remember like there was a moment when like you were talking about how like there might be something on the hull, and you had sort of like this speech where like Minkowski kind of tells you like, stop it, like there's probably a rational explanation, and and you were like, yes, there's an explanation, and the explanation is that there's a thing coming to eat us. I remember like during that speech, and I never gave you direction on this, you just were pointing at the ceiling, just being like, yes, the explanation is that there's a hungry, empty thing, and it's coming to go big, bad wolf on our straw house, and you were kind of like punctuating each word with this like upward stab. And I don't think that like anyone has ever been like quite like engaged on that level of physicality and that like level of just like spontaneous reality as we all were on that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That has always kind of been my favorite one. I think that for me, there's also a factor of like, that is probably the script that has had to be like rewritten the least. And I think part of it was because I was writing it in this like really creepy hotel in Montana at like 4 a.m, and so I was just like getting like creeped out while I was writing it. Yeah.
Yeah, while he was road tripping from LA to New York.
Yeah.
With
Oh,
I don't wanna-
that was during that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, he was road tripping and was in this creepy hotel and wrote this creepy story, and it was wonderful, and it got physical.
Lord,
gotta. Yeah,
you do.
Doug justice.
You have to.
Obviously, the best episode ever is going to be the one that I wrote, but no.
It's really good.
And by
It's-
wrote,
it's
I mean
really
I
great.
handed in a first draft, and then Gabrielle and Sarah heavy lifted it into a beautiful place, and it was a cool process.
Yeah, you
'Cause,
did all the difficult parts.
I mean, I would say it was a very collaborative effort, and that's what made it so cool.
Okay.
And my experience of writing it was basically like listening to a couple episodes back, which I do from time to time, and just like thinking like, what would they like? It was I find writing to be challenging. Like when I sit down to like write something that Zach has to say, it's like pulling fingernails. But when
Why do you think
just
I
like-
don't act in this show? Yeah, no.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, but when it was like, all right, so like here's the deal. Like these are we sort of like plotted out the points that we wanted to hit. For anybody who's interested in writing their own show, like what we found is for a 20-minute show, 10 points is like a good number, which diverts from the 8-point wheel that Dan Harmon put out. If anybody's interested, Google super basic shit, Dan Harmon, fucking amazing. It's like the best storytelling blog post I've ever read. And so once we had those 10 points and like sort of massaged them into a good place, it kind of was an experience of like, right, like there were some things like jokes and lines that was like, oh, that was really funny that they wrote. And it was like, apparently it was in the first draft. And I just like forgot because it just, I feel like these characters are so like 3-dimensional at this point for all of us that it pretty much wrote itself, which is really, was a cool experience.
Yeah. And you can hear that episode in not the next episode, not the one after that, but the one after that is the Zach Valenti original. So get excited. It's pretty great.
And it's surprisingly one of the ones with much less.
Let's hold off on that. I'm gonna put a kebab on that for the time being.
I told you,
Kebab.
smack you
Yeah,
around.
then I smacked you. Yeah.
Wait,
We're not spoiling future things.
I know, but we're putting a kebab on them.
Have you never heard that?
A
No.
kebab. I've heard
Kibosh.
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 Yeah, but like by now. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Let's not get into like the
I'm
linguistic
sorry.
divergence.
I just had
Is
this
the-
like amazing mental
is the
image of like
kibosh-
literally laying a skewer of lamb chunks on it, and I just got really happy.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
So here's a good one. So why did you decide to title the episodes after things said in the podcast?
Mhm.
Also, what is your process for choosing titles? Like so much of this show, I think that was largely like 11th hour decision where we had like recorded the pilot and edited it and had it like sitting for like 3 months.
And the credits.
And we and we still didn't know what the title was, and we were kind of like in the process of writing episode 2 and 3 and still kind of like going through it. And there was something, and I think this may have been a Sarah suggestion, and Sarah didn't join us as a full staff member until season 2, but she was there from the beginning kind of as my personal consultant, giving me notes and like things. And I think that it was finally her who in an 11th hour rewrite inserted the line succulent rat killing tar, and we started to just kind of like kept referring back to that line, and eventually just kind of felt like, yeah, that feels like the title of this piece for whatever reason.
Yep.
Mhm.
And after that, it kind of just sort of like became obvious that it was just kind of like, oh, the thing to do to title all of these is just like find the single most bonkers line or the single most like significant line and get it out there.
So it's getting a little sweaty. Can we put the AC down a little bit? Yeah. I'm sorry. Just talent is just
Derailing everything.
sweating. Just sweating. Just trying
Yeah.
to not sweat so much.
And I think that most of the time we write the finished episode, and then somewhere in the table read, we kind of pick which line feels right.
Oh yeah.
Every now and then we have one where it's like,
A clear winner.
or even like there have been like a few times. Am I Alone Now and Empty Men were both titles that I had in mind before.
But those so clearly had like just the concepts of both of those.
Yeah.
Especially Am I Alone Now?
Yeah.
Which for second spot of favorite episode, that is like a really strong contender.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for all of those acting, it was like one of the first moments where we like, especially for me, not coming from a more involved, experienced theater background, like I had to confront that these are full people, not just voices, and dig in.
Mhm.
So yeah, titles.
Titles indeed. Yeah. Okay.
That's just not even a question.
Okay. So the question that Zach is just laughing at is Wolf 359 going to have a happy ending?
Surprise! and my note is, as Hilbert might ask, depends. What makes you happy? And if it's not happy endings, then you will be thrilled.
Yeah, I don't think that we can say much more than that. I think that like by now people have gotten some sense of like how terrible the people on the space station's lives is. So anybody like expecting a like super mega happy fairy tale ending is, taking the
And they all
Long
go
bet.
home and have a powwow with Cutter, who becomes not an angry bastard. And
Yeah.
everybody's great. No, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I'm just saying, I'm not ruling out anything. I'm just saying those are long odds.
Doug has a 45-minute speech that convinces Goddard Futuristics to pivot into a not-for-profit that benefits all the tired, hungry, poor humans across the galaxy, and we
Yeah.
all end
And
in marshmallow
Hilbert's-
beds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hilbert's experiments result in an entirely positive outcome with zero side effects and zero kind of trial and
Yeah.
error. It's just like Doug, like incubates this thing, and then all of a sudden it works, and then it's
And
great.
Doug becomes Superman
And then
Yeah.
Doug becomes Superman. Yeah.
and actually travels back in time to
Mhm.
be Superman. No.
Well, now you guys don't need to listen to the
in no
next 2
world
seasons
ever.
because
Yeah, it's true.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
yeah.
We also
So
invent a flux capacitor. Just because.
Which we saw at Dragon Con, and it was awesome.
a flux capacitor.
Yeah, man, they had the whole DeLorean. It was
Oh, that's
it
right.
was so
yeah,
cool.
it was really cool. Okay.
Next time.
That was like my favorite movie growing up. Huh?
Yeah, please hit us.
What would you tell the characters if you could tell them?
Ooh. Okay. The question is, what would we tell the characters if we could talk to them?
Damn it, Doug!
A lot of it is damn it, Eiffel. That is a really fantastic question. Talk to each other, don't be
Too
afraid
hasty.
of the other people in the room, and just like realize that the only way that things are going to be okay is if you actually engage with the people around you. And I would say that to everyone.
Yeah.
The theme of the show is that
Yeah,
secret.
kind of. I don't think that that's
I leave it to
I
you.
think it's helpful.
I leave it to you.
okay.
But
Let's leave that aside for now,
Okay.
and maybe we'll crystallize that
Wahaha.
later.
You want another one?
Hang on. Do you guys have anything else that you would say to the characters aside from "Damn it, Eiffel"?
And I would say life is short, especially on the Hephaestus.
Yeah.
Have some fun, guys.
yeah. Perhaps
Okay.
some fun would be good.
Next one, Lee. What you got?
So this one's kind of technical. How long did they travel from Earth to the station? I don't know if you guys
It's 7.8 light years.
Yeah, and I have a guess for Gabrielle's answer. We're not figuring that out right now, so we can have it open-ended in case we want to have something later, unless you have a better answer. Do we have faster than light communication? Obviously, with
And
the
and obvious
Yeah.
and obvious, and we do definitely have faster than light
Yeah.
travel.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's
You
not
know,
not
it.
cryo, and then
Well, we know that Lovelace put herself in cryo, so we know that it's
Yeah.
not instantaneous faster than light travel.
But
I would
Mr.
say
Kudelka is still alive.
correct.
And-
Yeah, it's not like relativistic travel where it would take decades to get there. I would say
better
that
know a sci-fi nerd.
I would say that gentlemanly guess would be somewhere between 4 weeks and 3 to 4 months to get from Earth to the Hephaestus in a shuttle. Yeah,
Okay.
it takes some time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we were talking
Yeah,
in the higher single-digit months.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what you and I have talked about
exactly.
before.
So yeah, it takes a while, but it's not
Yeah.
life derailing while.
I got 3 more for you guys.
Yeah, please hit us.
Will there be any more episodes a la Am I Alone Now?
So the question is, will there be any more episodes a la Am I Alone Now? The answer to that is yes. We have something vaguely like that planned in the near future. One of the big things that we were sorry was that in our original outline for season 2, one of the episodes that is coming up was going to be kind of a formal episode, a formal experiment episode like that, where we did something radically different. And we kind of, once we look back on the season, and especially once we look back on our mid-season break with Lovelace's arrival, we kind of realized that it didn't quite feel right to just kind of take a week off to do something
It felt
aggressively formal.
Forced, I think, is the word.
Yeah, but we absolutely want to do something like that. I don't know if it's going to be something like Am I Alone Now exactly, because that is something that was very much focused on the fact that Eiffel was our focal point for the entire first season, whereas now he's still the protagonist, but it's a little bit more of a wider lens. So I think that our formal experiment in our lens episode is going to look a little bit different.
Ross and Friends.
Maybe.
What?
I think that we had something not completely unlike that with Minkowski commanding. That kind of felt like our big formal experiment for
Yeah.
this season was just having an episode that is narrated by a different character. But yeah,
and that was in the hopper for like since we started the show.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have a Minkowski narrated, I got it right, episode. And so it was really cool when like the script was in our hands and we were like, this is awesome.
Yeah. I know that's something that I've wanted to do for basically since like episode 2 is to have a HERA narrated episode.
Can I?
Hang on and
Okay.
hold on that for just a
You
moment.
know what I'm going to. You can say it.
And the only reason why that didn't happen, and that was the slot that eventually became Am I Alone Now, is because Michaela Sweet, the actress who plays HERA, is one of our remote performers who is not here in New York with us. And she was just going through a period where she was extremely busy. And so it kind of got to a point where it was like having a like 4-minute monologue that was plausible, but having kind of like an entire 20-minute episode was not quite something that we could fit into her schedule.
Not like she's pursuing an advanced degree.
Yeah.
But that's something that I've always wanted to do and something that we will do at some point, hopefully. Anything else?
Can I tell them the stretch goal?
No, don't tell them the stretch goal.
Aw,
Definitely not.
Okay.
No.
Here's another one for you.
Okay, hit us.
Gabrielle, how has working on anthology been different from Wolf 359?
Killer
Oh,
question.
wow. That's a
High five.
yeah.
Who
This
is that?
I don't know at the moment.
What's
Okay.
their username? Oh, okay.
The question was
Paying attention.
how was working on Anthology different from working on Wolf 359? Anthology is another radio drama show that is being produced here in New York by a friend of ours. And I did an episode that I wrote and directed for them also with Emma, which was, it was basically the first thing that we did as soon as we were done with the first half of season 2. We went straight from Mutually Assured Destruction into the episode of Anthology that we did together. And it was a complete change of gears in a way that I totally underestimated, because I thought like, oh, I am already kind of in this like radio drama writing sort of mode. I like, you know, I'm sort of like producing things. There's kind of like this like slight horror bent. I can totally do this. And then I ended up writing this thing that was kind of this like period horror piece, kind of in a like H.P. Lovecrafty vein. And it was so totally different in a way that I was completely underestimating. And it took me so much longer to kind of like just sit down and rethink all the characters and rethink the tone and rethink the way that like horror works when it's not seen through the lens of sci-fi, and especially when it's not seen through the lens of the Hephaestus, but it's just kind of like its own sort of different set of tensions. So yeah, I kind of like approached it and I thought that it was going to be sort of this like fun change of pace. And instead it was sort of this like, oh my God, no, I need to like completely sit down and like rethink all of this.
And I remember that time. This was not like Wolf 359 was on pause. This was not during a hiatus.
No, yeah.
It was a very clear moment of like limited sanity from just like, I remember we were like finishing up a rehearsal and you're like, I gotta go write another.
Yeah. No, it was
show.
kind of, there was definitely like a period where it was like rehearsing Mutually Assured Destruction, going home to finish writing my script for Anthology so that the next day we could have a table read. And then like 2 days later, recording Mutually Assured Destruction so that like later that week it was just basically all happening together.
He's a podcast machine.
And yeah, it was very, very intimidating and very, very sort of like challenging in a way that was ultimately super rewarding, but at the time was a little crazy.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it was that I had Emma there to sort of like help me through that. And she was the main character in that. So at least I kind of knew that like I was working with someone that I already had that rapport with. And the 2 other actors that I got to work with, Jaime Maceda and Felipe Bonilla, were just unbelievable troopers and were just so down to like try out all these crazy things and just like brought this incredible energy to the room. So once like the script was ready, it was an incredibly fun process. It was just like a little moment of like, oh my God, how am I going to make all this happen on time? And yeah, that was fun.
And shout out to whoever asked that question. Ariana, Jason, Marin, and Rachel Liu. It's Rachel's podcast, and Jason and Rachel are my good friends. Love that you asked that question.
Yeah, they'll be really happy.
Yeah, that's all.
And before I forget, there was something else that I need to get in here. So we got a message in the Wolf 359 email from Ariel Hicks, who says that today is her birthday and it would make it more special if she got a shout out. So 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday!
Are we gonna sing it?
Yeah. Are
Yeah, I
we
was
singing
saying
it?
it.
What do
We can. I was just gonna say happy birthday. We can sing it if you guys want.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. You lead.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Ariel.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. Thank you so much for writing in.
Yeah.
And now that we've done that, there was one more question.
Spending your birthday with us. It's awesome.
There was one more question that was, this is for any actors in the room at the Ask Me Anything. Have you done musical theater? If yes, will you sing for us? Preferably Pirates of Penzance, especially if the actors for HERA or Minkowski are there.
We give you the floor.
Hi guys.
Actually, I don't know if you've done musical theater, CC.
Yeah, I've done a lot of musical theater. I've done some musical theater. Wesleyan does not let's see. I think when I started at Wesleyan, the theater department's official stance on musical theater was, we don't do musical theater. Which Claudia said to me, who's this like lovely Brazilian lady. She's just the most wonderful person. But yeah, in high school I did a ton of musical theater.
Wow.
This much musical theater?
Probably more.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So much
Like,
musical theater.
At least 2 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I hate to be that guy, but Pirates of singing?
I don't know if I know Pirates of Penzance because
Okay.
that's like one of the ones that
I feel that that's
done.
also like, I think that
I can
Emma
do-
has
wait.
ownership over that in the
Yeah.
Minkowski, in the
Yeah.
Wolf 359
I mean,
sphere.
one can
Next
do
time.
like the beginning of Modern Major General.
Yeah.
One.
The proverbial
Theoretically.
human being could do.
Should we save it for when Emma's here?
Let's save
I
it for
think
when
we should
Emma's
save
here.
it for when Emma's
No, I
here.
think
Next
that's-
Yeah.
time. Next
Next
time.
time.
But thank you.
But it's her baby.
Also, I will
Yeah.
say, I cannot promise.
Like Flint's monster is mine.
I cannot promise that Emma will do Pirates of Penzance
That's up to
because
her.
the only reason why she did it was because it was her idea, and she never thought that I would take her up on it. She suggested as something ridiculous, and I was like, "Oh, you're totally doing this. This is going to be great." And it was only later that she was like, "Oh God, now I have to do it."
No.
But there was definitely like a moment when she like, not seriously, but like kind of vaguely tried to weasel her way out of it, and I was like, "No."
Much
Emma,
like
you
Eiffel
need to do
trying to
this.
pray.
Oh, that was so good,
Yeah. Moral of the
Okay.
story is do not joke with your directors, kids.
How are we on time?
We have been doing this for about an hour and a half.
If you want on chat, you can take it quickly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 5 more questions. Like, let's do the ones on chat and like a few more from here, and then we'll call it a night.
Will there ever be more
I mean-
episodes?
That's a great question. I semi-answered it,
Okay.
What?
but we'll give the real answer. I
Yeah.
basically said, yeah, I don't know when. But
Okay.
And for anyone who is not listening on the chat right now, the question was, will there be any more mini episodes? The answer is yes, there will be. Yes.
they're so fun.
One last one. How long does it take to write and edit an episode?
How long does it take to write and edit an episode? It depends on the episode. I would say between 30 and 40 hours all told. Depending on how
Is
much.
that everything?
That is, I would say, like,
Can we do a breakdown? Like,
yeah, I would say that the longest part in many ways is the writing, because, you know, it's a little bit hard to parse out because a lot of these episodes kind of get like plotted out together and kind of outlined together. And a lot of it happens kind of by committee when you, me, and Sarah kind of get together and talk about it. And a lot of it also just happens by like me and Sarah just doing things, and all of a sudden we'll have a thought that's like, oh, wouldn't it be great if like Minkowski had an episode where she like was hunting the plant monster? That would be funny. And after that, there's kind of like, once you have sort of like the general idea of like what the episode is, that's kind of what I call like the dark period of the soul, where like you have an idea, you know that it's a good idea, but it doesn't exist in outline form yet. Like the structure isn't in place. So that's like a lot of like going to a coffee shop, sitting with your notebook and just kind of like staring at your cup of tea while you don't have ideas. And just like you hear the ticking of the clock and you're just like, I have a table read a week from tomorrow. I should have an idea. And that's like all the ideas that you're having as like you hear like the hours tick by. And I would say that like for most episodes, it takes me like 2 to 3 days of that to emerge with a like finished structure.
David Lynch would call it fishing.
Yeah. And sadly, it's one of those things where like you just have to kind of like be there and like take it up. And then once that's out of the way, the writing itself is a lot quicker. Because inevitably when you're doing that, you start like writing notes and you start writing like lines and you start sort of like coming up with like the material itself. So I would say that like first drafts of an episode around 25 hours. Then table reads usually take about 2 more hours. Rewrites can take between 6 to 10 hours, depending on like how extensive they are. Call it another maybe 4 hours of rehearsal per episode, plus maybe 4 more hours to record each episode. And then depending on what the episode is and how, audio effect heavy it is, it can take between 10 to 15 hours to edit it, I would say. Like Paranoia Game, which was like a lot of just people talking to each other in a room, that was a lot faster. But something like No Pressure, which just came out, or Minkowski Commanding, which were very driven by like a lot of like audio effects, that takes a lot more time to find the effects and kind of edit them and then mix them so that people can hear them. So yeah, like including rehearsal and recording time, I would say maybe like 50 hours per episode.
And I think that's the other unsung hero is like Gabrielle, not as writer or director or just like companion team therapist, like being the audio engineer behind the scenes. I think my favorite surprises were the sounds of the Hephaestus. Any guesses? Drum roll. Submarine sounds. Yeah. And then Plant Monster, which I was very upset that he wouldn't let me play, but very excited that he found a secret sauce. I don't know if we want to give that away.
Oh,
I say no.
I say give it away.
Okay, it's like alligator plus hippo plus.
No
What
hippo. No hippo.
I thought it would it.
It's mostly alligator and walrus sounds mixed together. Yeah. It's and I think that the story behind that was that
So good.
I was in the middle of editing episode 3 and having like a really hard time like figuring out like what the heck this thing sounded like. And I was driving back from work in LA and I was listening to this Radiolab story about alligators. And all of a sudden there was like a thing where one of them did like a snarl. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's the Plant Monster. And I like rushed home and like looked up all the alligator sounds that I could find online.
That's so good.
Zach,
that's so good.
Can we get like
so great?
Tori, you're right. I can't play everyone.
Zach, can we get the complete list of all the people in this show that at one point you wanted to play?
HERA, Eiffel, Hilbert, never Minkowski for sure.
No. The
Plant
Monster.
The Plant Monster. I definitely wanted to play the Plant Monster. Did I want to play Cutter? I don't think I.
No, I don't think you.
No.
If you did, you never expressed it.
No. Huh? Yeah, we asked you to play Cutter.
Yeah, and I said no.
And then we wanted Dylan Marin to play Cutter, who's a friend of ours from school, who's fucking amazing on everything. That he
does and scheduling, just like
anyway, for all the reasons, he's wonderful. We love him. But you asked me to stand in for several of the side characters, which have since become a thing.
Side characters, as in people from
the previous ship.
Yeah.
So I've been Lambert when we've needed a Lambert.
It was sort of fun to play in a nasally kind of way.
Yeah.
And you did Fisher too, yeah.
Yeah.
See I can't even. I'm not even doing Australian. No, it was Australian.
Well, it was supposed to be British, and then it turned into an Australian accent.
Yeah, because I don't do British
in
accents.
the recording.
Yeah.
Dylan Marin, wait, Dylan. Yeah, he's our friend. If you search Taylor Swift does Lady Gaga, Dylan and I made a video back in college that was like one of his first like holy crap, it got 10,000 views, and basically I just put a camera on a tripod and stood back while he did his thing and geniused all over my camera. And but yeah, Google it, look it up. He's awesome.
Yeah, I've never actually met Mr. Marin, but you and Emma both know. Do you know him, Cece?
Yeah, he's lovely.
I won't
We-
do Hera's
like,
voice on.
He's just wonderful. We love him.
Yeah,
That's all.
He used to work across the street from my house when I was living on the Upper West Side at the Whole Foods, and I would see him all the time. The thing about Hera's voice was that I had a filter, so I did a higher octave and just like I did the whole thing, and then we put like a female filter on it with the breaking. It was, I will take credit for the like halting effect.
That was your idea, and that was a great idea.
And that's probably one of my proudest non-actorly contributions to the show. And I am thrilled that we got Michaela to do it because my God, has she brought something to the character that I never would have.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like when we were making the transition from like the show being just Eiffel to the show being like all these other voices, and I was very freaked out by like the process of casting people and getting them to work in the show.
Yeah.
And there was kind of this moment where like Zach was just like, no, it's okay. Like I can do Eiffel and I can do Hilbert. And I was like, okay, sure. And then like all of a sudden there started to be kind of like a creeping thing of like, nothing that I can do HERA. Like let me do HERA with like a voice filter. And that was and that was finally when I was like, no, I think we need like an actual third human being in the room.
Yeah. and I'm glad that you did that. And that answers one of the questions, which was, did you ever think about getting
another person
actor
to play
for Hilbert? And I think it was less like Zach was a great fit and more like Zach was interested and willing and could do a convincing enough accent that it saved us the headache.
Yeah. And again, like you
casting.
have to like lower your expectations for how professional this show was on the first go around.
Oh my God. So first of all, most of it was in my closet in the pilot,
Yeah.
but then we went to Jared Paul's original studio, which was a rehearsal space. So we set up in a windowless, air-conditionless room.
This mind you in the middle of July. Yeah.
In like
In May.
solid 79, 80 degree weather, humid. We're in this
Feels like 95-ish.
and we're in this room, feels like 95, 100, and we're about to start recording when the drummer upstairs starts rehearsing. So we spend the next 15 minutes trying to wall off that side of the room with soundproof material. And right when we're about to start recording again, the like, what was it, like the like rap beat dubstep DJ next door starts rehearsing, and we've run out of soundproofing material. So we're just like, Jared, thank you for doing this for free. We can never work here again.
Yeah. And I think that fortunately, like my note for like for Succulent Rat Killing Tar was kind of like everybody's annoyed. Like like that's an episode where like all the characters were like, Eiffel is annoyed because he's bored and is doing like a crap job. Minkowski's annoyed because Eiffel isn't doing his job. Hilbert is annoyed because like it was just kind of fortunately one of those things where like nobody was having a day where they were like, oh, I feel so like personally and intellectually fulfilled. Everyone was just having an awful time. So it all worked well. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. But yeah, so like I think that like the idea of you playing all the voices ever was a little bit less insane.
Only a great idea for Zach.
Yeah.
And not for anyone else.
And I think that like our first sort of glimmers of like, oh, actually this could be like a really cool, like actually like legitimate thing was when first Emma and then Michaela both agreed to do the show. That's when all of a sudden we were like, whoa, actually like this is worth paying a little bit more attention to.
We got those spine tingles.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're down to 4?
I think we're down to 3.
Down to 3.
Yeah, final 3 if there's any.
Okay.
All right, next question from the Avalanche.
Where do you come up with this stuff? Drowning in space is my favorite quote. Mine too.
You know, a little bit of everything. You know, like God knows that like there's plenty of things that I've gotten from like sci-fi shows and stories that like I've enjoyed, and a lot of it also just comes from like sitcoms that I like, other books that I like, other stories that I've heard. I think that Zach and I once like told like some people that like the main advice that we can give people for writing is that like fear of public shame is your friend. And like honestly, like I think that like the main thing that like gets these scripts written on time is just sort of like the knowledge that I have like
Yeah.
commitments to actors and places that like I need to get things on time.
And now it's like, y'all.
Yeah, and now
Yeah,
like
'cause
obviously,
people listen to
and now that we
do
have like
not, we fear letting you down.
yeah.
Tumblr might break.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know like if there's more of a concrete answer about like where we come up with this stuff. We come up with it in the lands of desperation. Okay, focus, Zach. Next question.
Okay. Well, there were a couple that I noticed that I kind of like.
Okay, hit me.
Yeah, what's going on?
Whoa, I broke it. What exactly does Goddard Futuristics do?
Oh.
Can you tell us anything about the company?
No. No, I'm
Cool.
kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, Goddard Futuristics, I've always kind of conceived of it as like kind of like one of those like gigantic all-purpose mega corporations that just like has their hand in like all kinds of places and just like is like subtly controlling a lot of things that they really shouldn't. My main kind of conception of them is like if like a major aeronautical company, something like Boeing or something like that, where it's like one of the big developers of like aircrafts and like defense contractors, like if they had been the people who first invested in Apple, and if like we were living in a world where like Apple had come up under the private ownership of this like mega corporation that was invested in like aircrafts and travel
Yeah.
and like military contracting.
It's sort of like if Google and Apple and that giant like chemical company that nobody can name, just like if
Random?
all the like corporations sort of turned out into one massive
Yeah.
superpower that was like trans-governmental, just
Yeah.
like sort of all seeing, all like in my mind, and this is somewhat Zach headcanon right now, but I think it's just this like vaguely like all-powerful big brother corporation that makes everything from tennis balls to nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
It's like Amazon, Apple, and Google had a baby.
And I would throw Boeing in there because I think that like it's important that like the main
yeah, it's like
yeah, like they
came out of, like,
it's
they
like-
started out as an aeronautical
yeah,
company.
if
Is like
SpaceX
important.
started before Google and then bought Google. Like
Yeah, and then they were the
Yeah.
people that like financed Google. Like
Exactly.
they were the people that had the insight and the
Sorry.
foresight to be like,
Alphabet. We get it, Google. You have a new logo.
yeah. But yeah, that's what Goddard Futuristics is, and that's what they do. Originally, they were Goddard Aeronautics.
What is this? The last question now?
No, I think we're down to two more.
Okay.
Yeah.
We already answered how the hell do you guys know each other? That was a good one.
Oh, actually, here, hang on. Let me address this one.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Okay.
This one?
So the question is, did Renee change her name after her family left Poland? Her first name is foreign, and even her last name is in masculine form. Traditionally, she'd be Renata Minkowska. So this is a fantastic question, and there's two answers to this. The first one is that, yes, she has a foreign name, and that's by design. She has a Polish father and a French mother. And so she got her first name from her mother's side of the family, and she got like the family name from her father. The fact that her last name should be Minkowska in feminine form, that's a critical research failure on my part. That is just us not being well versed enough and not taking the time to do that. So yeah, there is no like, that was not a conscious character decision. That is something that I'm learning right now in this AMA is incorrect, and that's on us. So we are sincerely apologetic to the people
Sorry.
of the
The Polish
Polish
language.
descendants.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Poland, including my Polish family.
Yeah, so we're really, really sorry about that. But the first name, no, the first name is Renee because that is the name that her French mother gave her.
Okay, so I have two. Then.
Okay. So the
but-
final two questions, guys.
Oh, okay. I thought we were only going to pick one.
No, come on, we'll do both.
All right, so there's.
We're not like that pressed for time.
For any actors, we did that one. So I had, what's the oddest compliment you've ever received on the show?
And
the other one that I highlighted and the highlighted disappeared for, that I'll remember what we. One second, let me actually find it. It was. It's right here. I know, right?
Sweating
again. Oh, what was it like to be on the casting crew like 5 episodes in? And what's it like now?
That's like
More crowded.
I don't know. I lost it, but yeah, there we go. There we go. I highlighted you. Why did you go unhighlighted?
Okay, so our 2 final questions for the evening are: what is it like to be part of the Wolf 359 crew after, say, the first 5 episodes versus how is it now? And the other one is, what is the oddest compliment that we've received about the show? I think that like the biggest difference is that when we were 5 episodes in, I was still out in LA. And so I was writing the scripts and sending them to you guys, and we would rehearse via Skype. But then when you went into the studio, I wasn't there, and you were kind of getting like director's notes from before, but there wasn't like a voice in the studio kind of telling you guys like, hang on, try it this way, try it that way. So you were kind of self-directing.
Which is a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've been able to take, if there's been an improvement in what Eiffel and Hilbert sound like, I think a big aspect of that, aside from me getting more familiar with the characters, is having somebody with Gabrielle's ear and ability to give like actionable notes there when we're putting down track.
Yeah.
What was the first episode that we recorded when you got?
When I was here?
Yeah, like
Box 953. That was the
Okay.
first one that was recorded with me in the room.
Oh no,
that was Empty Man. Yeah.
That's nice.
No, it was like those 2 were the first 2 that I was here for.
Cool. Box
and yeah.
953, man. What's in the box?
What is in the box? Who knows? And yeah, I don't know. What else? Like most of us already had like a working relationship of one sort or another.
Yeah.
I think that like most of it has just kind of been like we've gotten a lot more familiar with the characters.
Yeah.
I think that like one of the things that I've certainly noticed a lot more from, not so much from you, but from everyone else, has been like in season 2, there's been a lot more of like actors kind of telling me like, oh, were you thinking of like that line being that way? Because I was thinking of sort of like maybe doing it this other way. And I'm like, I am a complete idiot because that way that you just described is so much better than like what I had in mind.
Whereas I was, whatever the word for making shit up is from day one.
An ad-libber?
An ad-libber.
Yeah.
I was an ad-libber.
Yeah, no.
I ad-lib left and right.
And I think that that's just kind of been like a process of everybody just like getting more comfortable within the characters.
Lib.
Yeah.
Consider it added.
There you go. Okay. Anything else?
I think it's gone from this like, for lack of a better, just like this thing that we all really wanted to learn how to do, to this thing that we all really love to do. Not that we didn't love it, but it was like, I know I was like hounding Gabrielle. So the first time this showed up in my world was in my Facebook feed. Somebody, a good friend, mutual friend of Gabrielle and myself, put my name into a response to Gabrielle's post of, I had essentially, this is my air quotes, I had a fever dream of a one-man radio show, voice actors.
Anyone interested? Yeah.
Question mark. I got this, like, the friend knew that I was interested, put me in touch, and I was like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
I like would not let Gabrielle go like a day without messaging him on Facebook about the thing with the voice acting and the doing it.
Which was great because otherwise I would not have done this. Otherwise this would have gone into the notebook and been
That's
a done deal. Yeah.
It's so insane to think about because it just like, it was very like I had just, I think, landed a commercial agent after like 7+ months of taking courses on and trainings on commercial voiceover. And being really excited because it was cool to get an agent, but still really, sort of like impatient and frustrated because like even with representation, you're still waiting to be picked by a casting agent or, like some company that wants you to sell their thing. And so I was very hungry for something a little bit more out of the box where I got to do something a little bit more animated and weird, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I brought the weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like a moth to the flame, flew to the weird.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it was just like a lot of phone calls up front with like, so we doing the thing? How are we gonna do the thing? When are we doing the thing? Who are we doing the thing with? And eventually we found ourselves in rehearsal.
You know what's the other big thing that has changed since like 5 episodes in versus now? 5 episodes in, it was kind of very much like we were testing out like different stories, and there was sort of this like vague sense of like at some point the big plot is going to show up.
It was a little bit more like Dexter's Lab at the time, and now it's a little bit more of an X-Files, or like Stargate.
Sure.
Like, you know.
Yeah, no,
like,
I think that it's just like the very early episodes, we were kind of like dealing with sort of this like more, not necessarily sitcom-y, but more episodic kind of like at the end of the episode, the characters may have grown, but things are kind of back to status quo. Whereas now there's much more of a conscious, like everything is a building block to like the next thing that's coming sort of process in our heads when we record, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and now it's like, it's crazy to see over week, like more people finding out about this, like more art, like, oh my God, I can't begin to express. So the first fan art that I saw came out on my birthday, no joke, April 9th was like, I think the first sighting of fan art. And was that Dax?
No.
I don't know.
Maybe that was the first of
I know we had an animation. We had that was
maybe that was the first of like Random Dragons arts. But no, we had like stuff before then.
Is that not Dax? And then Dax. Yeah. So anyway, we started getting art around on my birthday, and it was like the best birthday present ever. Can't emphasize that enough. And so now it's just become this like it's beyond like practice. In my mind, it's like transcended this like I'm not just learning, like I actually get to work on something that people are excited to hear. When previously I was just excited to do it. And now it's like fun to like let them out into the world and see what happens.
Yeah.
So what's the oddest compliment?
Cue the crickets.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like a lot of it has kind of been like, the thing that first comes to mind is so many people being like, oh my God, I love the Empty Man. That thing gave me so many nightmares. Or like, you know, like that was so scary. I thought that someone was going to kill me in my house. It was great. And you're just like, thank you. I mean, are you okay? Like, I'm sorry.
They're like, no, give me more.
Yeah, like sort of this like very enthusiastic, like that was such a horrible, awful, traumatic experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, sort of like there has been, I think, there have been plenty of people that have been just like, I am legitimately upset at like this horrible thing that happened. But I think that probably the oddest one has been sort of like how many people have been like, this was awful and I loved it. I think that has been a lot of the like odd compliments.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or like any of the like, oh my gosh, Loveless is the worst. Like any of those are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know.
Anything else you can think of, Zach?
Can you?
Yes, I can. I don't know about that. Yeah, I think that's a good like set.
Yeah.
That's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is a healthy chunk of questions answered. So thank you so much for everyone that like tuned in and hung around and commented in the chat. So yeah, you guys are all fantastic and awesome. We'll definitely do this again sometime.
Yay.
And yeah, get more questions answered after more episodes come out.
Thank you.
Rachel E. writes, she is the worst.
So, thank you. I feel so
I
great
told
now.
them I would show them the Matan and Chris Pillow.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, like shout out to 1 month, the office that we rehearse in most of the time.
Yeah.
And did this in tonight and are using the film equipment of, that's why we look so fancy.
Yeah, this is the like,
This
you know,
fancy couch.
this is like the Wolf 359 secret bat cave
Yeah.
in many ways.
Our luxurious lower Manhattan bat cave
Yeah.
that is above ground.
Which is a luxury in Manhattan. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
All right,
Yeah,
come on, we
okay.
just stop this thing.
Right is right. You're the best. Bye, guys.
Okay.
How do we stop it?
You stop
I
it
don't
at the
know.
other computer where it's
Oh.
actually happening.
Oh.
You need to actually
Yeah.
Okay.
arrive.
Oh, wait. I'm gonna wait. No, don't stop it yet.
What?
1 second.
Pictures?
I just want to
Posterity?
get everybody on camera.
Hi.
Oh Lord.
Hey, bye,
Look at
guys.
that.
Adios.
All right, now for real. Bye guys. Have a good night. You're all wonderful.
Sorry. Home movies all the time.
Push your button.
Push